to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Oh, right.
Yeah, hopefully we can, yeah. Yeah, we'll see, but, yeah, like just literally what I just said, we're going to try to get back to audio at some point soon. I just reached out to this company that can hopefully be a little more help at distributing the audio version of this podcast. So we can get back out there like on more platforms again and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a little while again.
Yeah.
I mean, like
typical for us.
Typical for us, and I hate not having. I hate not having a consistent schedule with this.
Yes, same. I do too.
So
I'm responsible for it. I
right.
hate not.
It's but I mean, like, we're back again, and one real quick thing just before we get rolling on like headlines and stuff. We are recording this on Johnny Hockey's birthday.
Yeah, baby.
Happy birthday, JG.
Birthday.
Yeah. The best Blue Jacket ever.
Mm-hmm.
0 games played.
Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, happy birthday, Johnny. It's 29 now, right? Yeah.
Believe so. Yeah.
He was, yeah. Gosh. Let me get him through his prime years.
Exactly. Blue Jacket for life now.
Oh, hell yeah. Speaking of players for life, just to start, getting us rolling now. Let me just double check. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Double checking the recording.
I could have told you that.
So speaking of lifers, Bergeron and Krejci are both official now.
Yeah, and this is kind of something that we expected. We knew that Bergeron had 2 options on the table.
Back. Yeah.
He was either going to return as a Boston Bruin or he was never going to play hockey again. And it didn't seem like he was never going to play hockey again. So he came back. I'm not surprised about Krejci. I always thought that he was going to return last year at the deadline.
Right. That's
kind of like how
everybody was talking about that, right? Yeah.
That was kind of what I thought. I was surprised when he didn't. So when he didn't, I thought like, oh, maybe he's just never going to return. But he is back now, and
he just wanted the full year at home, I think. Right?
Makes sense. He picked a good off year. The Bruins didn't do anything, so
yeah.
Now who knows? Maybe his presence helps them.
They could have used him.
Maybe it helps them get by the Hurricanes in the first round, but they weren't really going to be a cup threat last year. So
no, and I mean, you have these guys like Bergeron's 37. Krejci just turned 37.
I want to say 37.
So like they're both in their they're both in their later 30s.
Yeah,
in terms of career. But I mean, we both know that, like, we all know that Bergeron still competes at an elite level.
He's 37 years. He might have had his best season in the NHL last year.
2002 and 2003 draft picks.
It's crazy.
20 years already.
Yeah,
these guys.
It's crazy to think about what they've been able to accomplish with the Boston Bruins, and it's big for Boston, I think, for 2 reasons. One, you're getting good players back, but 2, with a new coaching staff, specifically with Jim Montgomery, those are 2 guys that he can really lean on. That's huge. Yeah. So, I think that's big for Boston in terms of the leadership as they transition to this new coaching style, playing style.
You have your captain back.
You have your captain back. You have
his right-hand man, basically.
Back. Like
Krejci is Bergeron's Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah,
like that's the perfect comparison.
Right, he's not as good as Gino, obviously, but like in terms of just role and value, like He's
and player
the Bruins' second line center for like 15 years,
and player relationship, because those two,
Super close.
it's like Sid and Gino, they're tight at the hip, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What else can you say about these guys? Like, there's really just trying to think of like the legacy that these guys have. Can you look up what Krejci did last year in the Czech League? Just to see if he can still, because the biggest question that I have with David in particular is we've talked about his whole we've talked about Boston's need for a second line center, right?
Yeah.
If he can still produce that way, that's great. But with his age, that's another thing, right?
Exactly.
Like, will his body be able to handle the minutes?
So last year in the ELH, he in 51 games, he had 20 goals, 26 assists for 46 points.
That's not bad. Okay, that's
almost a point per game player in that league. So I still think that he's a 40 to 55 point guy in the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
And that's reasonable for him. I think it also adds some versatility to the lineup because it helps give you clarity on roles for players.
Yes.
Charlie Coyle is a third line center.
Yes. Eric Holla is probably your fourth.
Well, he's not on the Bruins anymore.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he left. So, God, who is there? Like Nosek? Is Nosek still? Oh, that's right. It is Zacha.
So yeah, Nosek is still there. So you
Nosek's
can go
there. Okay.
Bergeron, Krejci, Coyle, Nosek. You can put Zacha on the wing.
Right. Which Zacha got.
And if there's injuries, Zacha can play center. So there's some versatility there, and I think it makes Charlie Coyle more effective. Mm-hmm. I don't think
absolutely like we know what Charlie is at this point.
Yeah, he's a little overpaid. He shouldn't be playing in the top six, but on the third line, he can be a good player.
Yeah.
And bringing Krejci back allows him to do what he is supposed to do. Right.
And I don't know. I'm interested to see what David does with Taylor Hall.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's, naturally who you think that he would be playing with.
And we know it's going to be Pasta with Patrice.
And Marchand, whenever
Brad gets back. But that's the thing is Brad's not going to be back until what, like January? So
who knows? Maybe he domies it. So
we'll he could. So who do you fit there to start? Maybe Jake DeBrusk? I would probably put Jake there. Yeah.
That's the thing. You have some versatility with Jake DeBrusk too, because with Marchand out, you can do some things with Jake DeBrusk. You could put him on the second line if you want to put Taylor Hall on the first. I think you're better off putting DeBrusk on the first line because I think Hall will work better on the second line with Krejci. We saw them work together pretty well in the playoffs against Washington.
Oh yeah.
So there's at least a little bit of a sample size for those.
So I'm at least trying to imagine the top six because the biggest injuries that they have are defensemen. They're missing their entire right side, right?
It's it's always bad to have your number one defenseman go down. It's even worse when your number one defenseman is as good as Charlie McAvoy is.
So just in terms of the forwards, now that both of the old guard guys are back. So probably like Jake DeBrusk, Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak is your first line.
Yeah.
Until Brad gets back.
Yeah.
Whenever Marchand returns. And then second line, Taylor Hall, Krejci, Zacha?
I think that's what they want to do. Now, I don't know if they're going to put Hall on the right side or the left side, but
can Zacha
I feel like it makes more sense to put Zacha on the left side and Hall on the right.
Right.
Because Zacha has, for most part of his career, been a center, but he can play the left wing. He's never really played right wing before.
Got it. Okay, I didn't know.
Whereas if he's Taylor Hall can play a little bit. He can play right wing. He's done it before.
Right. He did it in Jersey, and I'm pretty sure he did it in Edmonton plenty. Right?
Yeah, at times he did. So
another thing to consider, at least with the Taylor Hall factor, is like that second line's getting older now. Especially with Krejci back, because you have 37-year-old David Krejci. Taylor Hall just turned 30.
Yeah. And then who knows? Maybe they put Zach on the third line and have Craig Smith playing with them.
Oh, that's right. They have Craig Smith. They have, gosh, they do have options.
Yeah.
Forward wise. Because again, Marchand's a huge loss, but at the same time, it's like it's only one dude.
Yeah, they should be fine.
That's a lot of productivity lost, though. That's a lot of points lost.
Here's the thing: they should be fine, but in terms of they'll still be good.
They'll still be competitive, but at the same time,
is it good enough in that division?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it is either.
I do not think so.
You're going to need Marchand to return, I would say, mid-December if you want a chance at making the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. And you want Charlie, right away.
Right.
You want Charlie ASAP. But it's not just Charlie and Marchand. They're missing Mike Riley and Matt Grzelcyk.
Yeah, that's tough.
Grizz is huge.
He is huge
for that team.
This is going to put a lot of pressure on Hampus Lindholm.
Oh yeah,
he's going to have to carry some weight a little bit here. And
so then how does the
defense? For
this guy? I'm trying to think. How does the defense shore up then? Is it?
Well, let's say so. These guys are out. Okay, let's just go for that. For example, you still have, as I mentioned, Hampus Lindholm.
Yep.
Still have Derek Forbort.
They do have Forbort now. Yep.
They still have Jakub Zboril.
Zboril is fine. He's
never going to live up to what his potential once was. But
you got to remember that 2015 fiasco. We always come back to their 3 picks in a row from 2015 because of just go and look at it again. People go and read the first round of the 2015 draft and look at what the Bruins did and look at what came directly after.
Yeah.
The 3 picks directly after 13, 14, 15. And don't get me wrong.
It's bad.
Jake DeBrusk is a great player.
He's a good player. Yeah, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with Jake DeBrusk.
No.
You get Jake DeBrusk at pick, what? I think they picked him 14th.
Jake was...
I want to say Zboril, DeBrusk, and then Senyshyn.
I want to say, if it's not that, then Jake was first and Zboril was second.
Right. So, there's nothing wrong with... Like if you pick Jake DeBrusk, say, 14th, and then the 15th pick is Matt Barzal, for example.
Right.
I don't really think that's a big deal. Of course, people are going to be like, oh, you could have Matt Barzal. But, it's not like you missed out on a player so horrendously bad because you still got a good guy who's playing in your top 6.
Yes.
The issue is when you have Jakub Zboril and Zach Senyshyn in there, and then the next 3 players are Thomas Chabot and Kyle Connor and Matt Barzal.
Right.
It has nothing to do with DeBrusk. It really does.
It's
literally it's just Zboril and Senyshyn. And Senishyn's not even there anymore. So
right, Senyshyn's gone, and Zboril's going to be okay. We haven't seen much from him just in terms of his career.
He looks like he might be a depth defenseman, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that at this point. But it sucks when you could have had a guy like Thomas Chabot. I think that's better.
Yeah. So you have you have Lindholm, who's he's got really big shoes to fill, especially with that contract he's got now.
Yeah. You've got Forbort, as we mentioned.
Forbort,
Zboril, Connor Clifton.
Clifton is one of their more underrated defensemen too.
And this is the thing that sucks is I think he's a fine third pair defenseman. He's going to play in the top 4, and he's going to struggle with that. And it's nothing against the kid. It's just you have your role. Not everybody's meant to play in the top 4 in defense. Not everybody's meant to play in the top 6 on offense.
I know we both sound a little under the weather. Let me just address this. I don't know. My throat's been bugging me for a few days, and then I don't know. I was gonna say you just sound like you're struggling.
Yeah, it's just it's cold. They always suck, but I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, you'll live. Let me look at this now. Oh, yeah, I forgot they had this guy. Probably again throw him under the underrated. Brandon Carlo.
I thought he was hurt.
Is he another one that's hurt?
I thought you mentioned that he was hurt. That's why I didn't mention him.
No.
Oh, okay. So Carlo,
No.
I'm fine with that then. I thought for some reason I thought he was hurt.
No, Carlo should be fine.
Okay.
Because it's Grizz, it's Mac, and it's Mike Riley.
Okay. All right. So Carlo will play on the top pair with Lindholm, and
then Forbor
with Connor Clifton on your second pair.
And Clifton, and that leaves Wolf and
They need to see
who
comes available.
Because your right-handed shots, I'm just looking at the roster just on paper here. You only have 3 right-handed shots, and that's in Carlo, Clifton, and Charlie. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is a left-handed shot.
Yeah. And Mike Riley has been big for them because he can play the right side.
Right. But he's a TJ Brody type. Yeah.
So that's a big loss for them because they've lost 2 guys who play on the right side.
I'm trying to think. So then would your third pair end up being Zaboral and Nick Wolf? Ooh.
I think your third pair is going to be Zaboral. Zaboral was not yet on the roster.
Right, but you don't have too much time anymore.
You don't have a ton of time. They can just ride the waiver wire.
You could, I guess.
I think that's probably their best bet to see if there's a defenseman who comes free that's not too expensive that hits the waiver wire that they could just be like, we need a third pair guy.
Right. So Bergeron and Krejci being back is going to bolster the center depth. Absolutely. Like it should. I don't know how much, just based off of how old they are now.
I mean, they're still really effective. Krejci won't be as effective as he used to be, but Bergeron's no different than he's been since he was, 27.
Right, exactly.
I know that he's 37 now, but age doesn't really matter for me when it comes to Patrice Bergeron because he hasn't dipped.
Well, no, there's a reason why he's won the most Selke trophies out of literally anybody now.
He has won the Bergeron award.
Once he's done, they should rename the award. Absolutely.
They really should. It's not even a question.
And again, the biggest question mark is that defense. And it's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because their bottom 6, I'm sure, is going to be fine.
Yeah, but the bottom 6 is what it is. The top 6 will be fine. Goaltending's fine. Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, you're fine in that.
It's going to be interesting to see who pulls more starts between the 2 of them.
I think it'll be Swayman.
I think it's going to be Sway as well, but
I think they're trying to slowly build him up.
Yep.
And then
I think they tandem it this year. Then, you think they split the net a little more evenly? Probably.
Yeah. I think it'll be something like Swayman gets 47, 48 starts.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Ullmark gets the others.
Right.
It'll be more even, but I think their plan moving forward is Swayman's their guy. They're just trying to slowly build him into it.
Yeah. So Sway's definitely the guy, but we'll see how they play it this year.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it's just we can't. I keep belaboring the point on defense because it's like, dude, you're missing Matt Grzelcyk and Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, they need those guys. They need one of those guys to come back earlier than expected,
and not to keep throwing Mike Riley under the bus because again, he's just as quintessential as those guys, but he's not a Charlie McAvoy. He's not a Matt Grzelcyk.
No. I mean, I could name you. Hundreds of defensemen who are Charlie McAvoy. I can maybe name you 5 who are. It's
Right,
just
exactly.
it is what it is. You know, he's one of the best investment in the league, but he's still incredibly valuable for them, and so is Grizz. So that's tough. Those are big losses to start a season,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah, and Marshy too, for what kind of
Yeah.
game that Marchand brings on both the points production and just the agitation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The brand of Bruins hockey
Yeah.
that Marchand plays
Yeah.
is really gonna need to be filled by committee. And I mean, Jake can do it. I think Jake can do both sides.
He can bring
of
you
it.
the offense.
He can bring you the offense.
Nobody brings you the nastiness that Marchand brings. You know who they could bring back, who they won't, because it makes no sense.
Huh.
Bring back Lucic.
Ooh, that'd be fun though.
It'd be fun, but it would make no sense.
You know who I think? Because I think Marchand's like roles, just in terms of both sides of it, those are going to be filled by committee. And you know who I think can fill that pest role really well?
I think I know who you're gonna say.
You think?
Yeah, you're gonna say the old captain
No,
of the Blue Jackets.
no.
Who do you think then?
Young kid, Trent Frederick.
Yeah, he's interesting too.
I've loved Frederick's game. Like, I'm gonna be totally brutally honest with you.
I'm not confident in terms of how he can drive play, but in terms of what you're saying,
in terms of just being the
that.
pest that Marchand is, like, yes.
Yeah, he can do that in the bottom 6. Yeah, I agree with that.
So you have, you'll have Jake go out there on the top line, and then you can throw Frederick out there to stir the pot, and then it's like Marshy never really left.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the Bees. I do think that in terms of the standings, this year's going to be tough. I think it's
tough because you got 3 locks in that freaking division. Tampa's a lock, Florida's a lock, Toronto's a lock.
I think it is going to be 3 Atlantic teams. I think it's going to be 3 and 5.
You think 5 teams? Okay. Who do you think the 5 teams are?
In the Metro?
Yeah, I'm interested.
So I still think that obviously, so Carolina's division to lose, I think.
Yeah. Carolina's a lock. New York Rangers are a lock.
I don't know if the Rangers are as much a lock as you think.
I think they're a lock.
I think with Igor they could be, but and I mean that's the Vasi argument, right? Like, but
if you have Igor Shesterkin on your team, you're making the playoffs.
We'll see about that, and
because obviously we're talking about locks in terms of health.
Yes.
Like,
and
on
I think,
paper, like as we stand right now, Igor's healthy. If Igor gets hurt, the Rangers are not a lock. Right. But if he stays healthy, they are.
Washington could slip, but at the same time, I'm not going to count Washington out.
I don't know if they're going to slip solely because I don't think they're a cup threat anymore. I think their window is closed. But as far as
I think in terms of just making it, like if we're talking 5 teams in the Metro to make the playoffs,
I think Washington is. I don't want to say a lock, but I feel confident that they'll make it because they got Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, Darcy, and then obviously Ovechkin's Ovi.
Yeah.
The big question mark with Washington is the future Nick Backstrom.
Yeah, exactly. It's losing Backstrom, and obviously you know that Kuznetsov can fill that top line role, but the question is who's going to fill the second line role? Are you going to rely on Eller to do it? Are you relying on a younger guy to do it, like Connor McMichael?
Yeah, can McMichael do it?
There's questions there for sure. Dylan Strome, they brought in him.
Oh, that's right. They do have Strome, so he's a temporary. He
Um,
could be the answer there because I know that they were looking at Nas, and we'll get to the free agency stuff later.
Oh
but
God, I really wanted Nas to go to the Capitals.
And Nas and Tom would have been.
I wanted it. I Nazem Kadri and Tom Wilson line. Throw Garnet Hathaway on there. Just
I know because we always say Marchie and Nas and Tom, right? As just like our fantasy.
That's my dream line.
Yeah, that's our fantasy line.
Like if you're doing like a fantasy draft, like you do in Shell, like I don't know picking those players, but I am eventually going to pick Brad Marchand and Nazem Kadri and Tom Wilson
and
just
put
to
them
put
on a
those
line
three.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. So Carolina, Rangers, Washington, and Pittsburgh, and then, dude, that fifth one though.
I feel confident in the Isles.
I think they could have a bounce back. I'm interested to see what Jersey does, and I'm interested to see what we do.
Yeah. I think we're going to be around where we were last year. I think we played a little bit above our weight last year, and I think that we got a little heavier. So we're not going to play above our weight. We're going to play where we are, and I think where we are is kind of where we finished last year.
Around like 6-7.
I could see us finishing with 82 points. And I know everybody's going to be looking at it like, well, you just added Johnny Gaudreau, but I felt like you got some really breakout seasons that might be hard to repeat from players.
Yeah. And I mean, so John,
but who knows? Maybe the goaltending improves, maybe the defense improves, and you do become a playoff team.
We've addressed that one player addition does not carry you to the promised land.
No, and as good as Johnny Gaudreau is, we saw what he did last year. He's not going to have 115 points for the Blue Jackets this year.
No, I can
not have 100. But
I can see him being 85, 90.
Yeah, that's all you need. Give me 90 points this year. I'm thrilled.
Give me 90 points from Johnny and give me 35, 40 goals from Patty.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If you can get 35 plus goals from Patrick Laine if he's healthy, that's what you wanted,
It's exactly, yeah. And that transitions us, into a little bit more of the Jackets stuff, and we're going to talk about the kids at World Juniors 2.0 in a second.
Kent Johnson?
KJ's going to wear 91 now.
Yeah.
Which
I
was
thought
an
it was
interesting pick.
Well, I was like his fucking Twitter thing is like KJ19 or whatever. So I was like, why isn't he picking 19? But
I was gonna say because he wears 19 for.
It doesn't Foodie have 19?
Foodie does have 19 right now.
So it makes sense.
I guess just swapping it, yeah, because wasn't the Rick Nash story too that he wanted 16 and then they just flipped it?
Yeah.
From juniors, yeah. So I guess
hard to imagine Rick Nash wearing 16, isn't it?
It kind of, it doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't.
It does, yeah, because I'm picturing a Nash 16, and the only way I can see that is with Riley, and I can't even see that with Riley Nash because he's always wearing like 20, 25.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Let's see how great your CBJ knowledge is.
Uh-huh.
Who was the last player to wear 91?
91. Oh, shoot. I want to say Vermette, but no.
No, Vermette was 50, I want to say.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was 50.
It wasn't Duke, was it?
Who?
It wasn't Duke, was it?
It was.
It was Anthony Duclair.
Anthony Duclair wore 91.
Look at me go.
Oh, yeah.
I know that was more of like a recent player, but like at the same time, I thought it was going to be like, somewhere around the era of Rusty Klesla.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean.
Because I remember seeing something recently where it was like, when the hell did Columbus have Sergei Fedorov?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, are you what?
That was a fun time.
with Fedorov.
Wish I could have been a part of that. Just seeing Sergei Fedorov play for Blue Jackets, but
it's one of those like.
Alas, I was too young.
There are always players like that, right? Where you're like, they played there, huh?
When the fuck did that happen?
Right.
Yeah, there's always players that like you'll see like posts every now and then like, do you remember this NHL legend playing for this team? And I'm like, no, I don't remember that.
No, exactly. It's like when they just take a pit stop in like Quebec or Atlanta or something like one of the defunct.
There was that like 2-year period where like if you were like a lifer and you didn't re-up with your team, you were signing a 1-year deal in Detroit.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of
Mike
guys that just went to.
Modano and Daniel Alfred.
That one's a sad one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to start with the sad one?
You know, yeah. Well,
Because
my
Babcock's a
bad.
fucking dick.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, so World Juniors 2.0 is underway. It's been underway. We were gonna record the first day that they started.
Yeah.
And then stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like the kids are all right.
Yeah.
The
Kent Johnson is kind of fun to watch.
I do like that a lot of our guys are being counted on as leaders for their teams.
Well, specifically the MVP of the first game for Czech.
So just in my notes in terms of order, KJ's wearing an A for Team Canada. And both Jiricek MVP.
Yep, MVP. Jiricek was standing.
Jiricek and Svozil are wearing alternates for Czechia.
I feel like Svozil is going to be kind of buried in the conversation of defensemen we are excited about in the future, because we look at obviously David Jiricek and Dan Matachuk and Corson.
Well, those are the two freshest guys.
Yeah, exactly. So like everybody's excited about those kids. I'm really excited to see what this kid could bring, because he brings a unique offensive style for a defenseman that I wasn't expecting from him.
Does he have a player comparable like from Jay Fresh or anything right now? Or
I would have to see about that. That's a good question.
Because another one, you know, there are so many guys on the defensive side of the pool, because Yarmo's been so focused on defense over the past few years, that it's, you know, obviously Jiricek, Svozil, Matachuk, Guillaume Richard's one. Corson, you're, you know, you love yourself some Corson Colemans.
Yeah, I'm really excited about him. I think that he's got a lot of upside.
And it just like it's almost like there's too many names, right?
Yeah, but this is exactly what they wanted to do, because you knew that out of all the areas you needed to draft, you know, that they've paid attention in the last few years.
Yeah,
they spent so much time trying to build up the forward core, and a few years ago they tried to build up the goalie core a little bit.
Right. So now it's time to focus on defense.
Yeah, now that they're focusing on defense, I imagine they're going to spend a little bit of time next draft addressing goaltending again. But I feel pretty good about it, because you look at the prospects you've got on both the offensive and defensive side of the puck. Like,
obviously, you have your hits and misses on, like, more specifically offense. Again, we always come back to the curious case of Liam Foudy, right?
Yeah.
But then you also have guys that you can count on, like a Carson Meyer and you know, a Yegor Chinnikov, and guys that are in the mix. Fix Wolanski. We forgot to mention Fix in the lineup conversation last episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Fix can do.
So this is interesting about Svozil. I can't find like a true comparison for him.
Okay.
But Bob McKenzie had him ranked 34th in his draft rankings for that season when he was drafted, and we got him 60.
What draft year was that?
That was 2020.
Okay.
Or that was 2021.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we got him 69th, nice overall.
Nice.
And he was, a lot of people had him early second round. So
Yarmo is just the master of a sleeper pick.
Yeah, he both loves his sleepers and his reaches.
Yegor is a prime example of the reach, right?
Yeah, you know, Yegor Chinnikov, I would say, is the number one example of what.
Yeah, where did this guy come from?
But yeah, I'm excited about this pick because I think there's a lot of upside there.
And I mean, I haven't followed the games themselves in particular
Yeah.
very closely. All I know is our kids are doing well, as they should. Because it's still round robin play right now, though, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So, and I've watched a few of the hockey guys' reviews and stuff. And there's a lot more prospects from other places, and guys that are draft eligible this year. Oh my God. That goal, I want to say from either last night or earlier today. Oh, it was disgusting. It was McTavish to Bedard, and
Yeah. Oh my God, the shot that Bedard has is just ridiculous.
His release is money in the bank. It's just whoever gets him is
I can't wait for smoke screen season next draft. Whoever has the number 1 pick, people being like, I don't know, they could go Michkov.
It's like, I was gonna say, because Michkov is also out for months now, so that's really
and a hit from Alexei Yemlin, so thanks, dick.
So that's really gonna suck to not get to see Michkov for a little while either.
Yeah.
And it's an ACL tear too, right? Ugh.
Brutal.
It's just so
he might slide a little bit because that's a bad injury to have.
Yeah.
Once you tear your ACL once, it becomes easier to tear it.
Because he's a perspective, because we know that more or less it's going to be still, even as of right now, the toss-up is between Bedard and Michkov, between 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's going to be Bedard and then Michkov, but the hope is that the time off doesn't cause Michkov to fall from 2.
It doesn't cause a Shane Wright again.
Could. It could.
It could.
Could Michkov fall to 4 or 5? I could see it. I absolutely could see it.
Well, that's the tough thing about these prospects right now is I haven't paid attention to this upcoming draft class either. As much as, because those 2 are the ones that I'm really focusing on.
Right.
I haven't gotten the chance to look at others that are projected to go. So it's just like watching Bedard do his thing and McTavish do his thing. I'm excited to see what he can do in Anaheim.
Right. I think McTavish is going to be a good player.
McTavish is going to be great.
You got it's 1-2 already figured out for the Ducks. You have Zegras and McTavish for your future.
And then you have the Leafs prospects are doing great, especially the Finnish kids. Topi and Roni Hirvonen are doing really well. There are a lot of guys that are around league systems that I'm so excited for to just see come to the show and be a part of something special. But the other side to this, second coming of the World Juniors is the Hockey Canada scandal.
Yeah.
Have you watched any? Have you gotten the chance to watch any?
No, I haven't watched any of these games.
For one thing, they are selling tickets for only like $10 or something.
I've seen photos of how empty they are.
They're extremely empty, and there's we talked a few weeks ago back when all the beginnings.
Yeah, when it first came to light.
When everything came to light and the financial sponsors, right? When all of those companies started pulling out, there's no advertising.
Yeah.
At Rogers Place right now.
Yeah. And this is, we say it all the time. If you're going to hurt anybody, hit them in the wallet. And that's what
it looks like.
Doing. And with how empty the arena is, it's hard to imagine they're making any money off of this.
It looks like just your normal everyday skating rink.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I can't say I feel bad. I can't.
It literally looks like you're just going out on a random December weekend to just go and have a fun skate.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the rink looks like.
Yeah, it looks like when you go into an arena, like when the doors first open, like it's a 7 o'clock game and you get in the doors at like 5 o'clock and you get to your seats like really early and nobody's there. That's what it looks like.
It looks it just with no advertising on any of the dashes or anything, it looks like rec league.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
No fans, no advertising.
And we knew TSN was still going to broadcast it, and they've been fine.
Yeah.
It's not like, but again, like we're seeing where these repercussions are, at least in the pocketbook. And now it's just, now that they're taking place, I wonder what this means for the journalists, for I know Westhead and Strang are still going to be doing their jobs in order to try to figure out this part of the story, and all the layers of both 2018 and 2003 now,
right?
There's
the 2003 one is the one that's really interesting because I want to see where it goes from here with that. Like we kind of know the direction that 2018 is going.
We need to name the players, and
the players will eventually probably be named. There's going to be more hearings with parliaments. There's going to be more figured out.
Those are starting. There's going to be a new set. I think I read on the 19th. There's going to be a new set of meetings on the 19th.
So, and I imagine that's not going to just be it. Like they're going to continue to have hearings and they're going to continue to move forward, figuring out what is the best course of action moving forward for Hockey Canada and how this gets fixed.
How do you clean house?
You clean house, how you could be relied on in the future. We kind of know the direction where that's heading, and it's a good direction. And I'm excited to see where it goes because it's much needed change.
Yes.
But for 2003, I don't really know where it's going to go. So it's interesting to see where it does go because
there are a lot of notable names. There are a lot of legends from that 2003 World Juniors team that are, I'm scared for these guys' legacies. I
understand what you're saying, but I'm in a sense like if you do it, like I'm gonna fuck about your legacy.
It's just being complacent in that for 20 years.
Yeah.
And one of the names that immediately came to my mind was Flower.
Yeah,
Marc-Andre Fleury was on that team.
He was on that team. I would find it really hard to believe that he would do it, but I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, I can't see.
I'm not just going to give him innocence because I like the guy and
no,
I struggle to see him doing it, but I would genuinely be.
But at the same time, I don't see it. But at the same time, it's like he was there. He was a part of that team. He could have had some sort of. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we're not going to throw blame on anybody because we don't know, but. Yeah, there are people who participated who's, they're going to be thrown out. We're going to know who they are, and from there, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because it's so big.
Yeah, the 2003 one just adds a whole nother layer to the onion, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to describe it is that it's another layer because it's not going to be the last layer.
No, there's going to be more previous tournaments that come out. We already knew.
There might have been something from 99 or 2000 or 2001. We don't know, but
we already know about
we've heard from their statements. They say that there's usually about 2 lawsuits a year.
The Victoriaville kids from last year.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot that comes out that's really going to. It's going to be some uncomfortable conversations, as we know. We've had a lot of uncomfortable conversations on here, but they're important conversations to have.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't enjoy these. I wouldn't say that. I don't know if "don't enjoy" is the right turn of phrase.
Yeah, we don't enjoy talking about this stuff, but we do. Understand that it's incredibly important and
it needs covered.
Yeah, it needs to be covered. It needs to be talked about, and we like being able to talk about these things openly with
Yes.
our fans who are very smart, intelligent people because they like us. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No, hopefully they like us. I don't know.
I pray.
It's-
If they're watching us and they don't like us, then they're kind of the weird ones.
Hate is gonna hate.
It's big because you can't fix these issues without talking about them. You can't just
Right.
sweep under the rug, and it's important that people talk about them. So
And we talked about this the last episode. The fact that it feels like we're the only ones doing this. Like I know SDPN is fairly big,
we need
and
more people talking about it.
we need
We
more
need
than
NHL
just
Network talking about it. We need reporters on Twitter besides Katie and Rick.
we need 32 Thoughts to do more. We need Hockey Night in Canada to do more. We need ESPN to do more. Name
I'll give
any-
ESPN credit. ESPN has done a pretty decent job at times with this.
TNT as well. Not
They did a pretty good job in terms of specifically when Torts was there.
because Torts knows how to speak his mind and be eloquent at the same time.
Yeah. That's a big loss for ESPN.
Yeah. Huge boon for the Flyers.
Yeah. But Torts made a great point that just everybody should know in their mind, and that's when the first thing came out about Kyle Beach last year. He's like,
What if it was your boy?
what if it was your kid? It's like that's all I'm thinking about here. I'm not even thinking about the hockey. What if it was your kid?
And I mean, well, what were her initials? EM?
Mm-hmm.
EM, right? Was
Yeah.
the victim for 2018. Who knows how old she was when this happened?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm not gonna speculate about it, but
No,
you'd have to imagine that theoretically she'd probably be around the same age group as them.
right? So like the teenagers at the time,
You'd probably guess in the 17 to 20 range.
probably somewhere around there. But it's just, yeah, I don't know how to say, as a blanket statement, like we talk about how much the sport has a culture problem.
Yeah, we've done it for a while, and it doesn't just come with this.
It came with Kyle
not
Beach.
just
It came
sexual
with
assault. It's the racism.
Yes.
It's the sexism. It's the
Yep.
homophobia. The xenophobia. There's a lot of it. It's a really bad culture, and
the all-encompassing. And again, hockey is for everyone. It's just PR bullshit.
yeah, no, it's a marketing campaign more than anything.
Which is the dumbest thing to. Because I mean, I believe it. You believe it. Hopefully, you out there watching us believe that. Turn of phrase is more than just a thing to slap on a poster.
I believe that hockey is for everyone. It should be for everyone.
Yes.
I had a conversation a while ago. There's just a random guy on Twitter. And I don't know. It's stuck with me. And when I say a while ago, I'd imagine like 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, so this was a while.
A while ago.
Okay.
And I just remember talking to like this random stranger on Twitter, who just talked about like he enjoys the concept of hockey, but he doesn't go to games because he was a black guy. He didn't go to games because he went to 2 Flyers games. He grew up in Philadelphia, so he wanted to be a Flyers fan.
That's fair.
And both times that he went to Flyers games, people were making racist comments about him. Like something like he mentioned something along the lines of someone said to him, like, "What are you doing here? This isn't a Sixers game."
Oh.
And like he talked about like how he liked like the sport of hockey, but he couldn't get behind the how white it is. You know what I mean? And my heart broke when I had this conversation with this random guy. I we don't follow each other. I never talked to him after
It was
that.
just
But
right.
it stuck with me.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what that story reminds me of?
What?
Tony X.
Yeah.
Tony X. Dude, he just found an NHL game to watch one day and started tweeting about it. And just
the goalie just said fuck it and left.
Tony's whole story of just him live tweeting a game.
Yeah.
And going viral.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's just
great
and now
guy.
He's quintessential to hockey Twitter, and he knows the sport and he loves it.
Yeah. And that's an awesome story about someone discovering a sport and really getting into it. And I just wish more people could do it. Like, I don't even remember this guy's name. I just remember this. Like, it stuck with me. Like, I hope that, someday he can get into it and not have to worry about people just being racist assholes. But
exactly. And I mean,
this is the culture of the sport, and it permeates not just from the players.
The weirdest thing is this is the most diverse I think I've seen.
Too.
This is the most diverse I think I've seen the league in forever.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to get more diverse, which is fucking awesome. But it's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
It's got a really long way to go.
Yeah. And who knows? We just got to keep doing what we can do off the air and on the air to keep addressing this.
Our fans as well, who are all good people, like I said.
Who all share the videos, please?
Yeah.
Who all share the Twitter account, please? Mm-hmm. And I hate to make that like a shameless plug kind of thing.
No, the more we get it out, though, like we need to, more people need to understand the importance of acceptance. And not just even even just in hockey, Jake, just in life. Really, more than anything. It's not just a hockey issue, it's just a fucking life issue.
Don't have to tell me twice. Holy
crap. I mean, damn.
But the World Juniors 2.0 are at least still fun.
Yeah, it's fun product.
It's nice that because this is the only hockey that's on right now.
Right.
It's very much shades of early pandemic.
It is hockey in August where there's really no crowds but you're still vibing. It's a good time.
I know, and it's it's not a bubble anymore. But it's it's weirdly different circumstances leading to the same kind of vibe, right?
100%. Because at the end of the day, you're just not seeing people in the stands, so it's giving you that empty arena vibe in a Canadian city.
Yeah.
No, it's
in one of the remember because Edmonton was a hub city too.
Yeah, Edmonton and Toronto.
It's so weird because I'm getting flashbacks to August of 2020.
Yeah. Beating Toronto in their own building.
And seeing Vegas lose.
And then yesterday, do you remember what yesterday was?
I know it was my best friend's birthday.
Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of. Any guesses?
Oh, wait. Yes, now I remember. Yes, because I remember yesterday's anniversary of the 7th period stretch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't realize it until late that night.
Yeah.
Because the big thing that was on my mind was my bestie's birthday. Happy belated again, Dustin. Love you, man. It was nice to.
Yeah.
It's been nice to reconnect with you, dude. He follows the show too. It's fun. So he's a fan, but it was his birthday yesterday, and then the big sports thing that was on my mind was Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday was the Field of Dreams.
Yeah. It would have been great if they could have given us a good game.
Would have been great if Cincinnati won.
Right.
Ugh,
That
my
was the
dad.
most Thursday night football matchup they could have given us for the first game.
My,
They're like Thursday night football, Jags Titans. It's like Field of Dreams, Reds, Reds Cubs.
I mean, Reds and Cubs is fine, especially because it's like,
Well, they're a rivalry, but neither team is good. That game would have been great 2 years ago.
Would have. Could have swapped them with the Sox Yanks. You know, like Sox and Yanks could have played this.
That game was ridiculous.
At least the uniforms are gorgeous.
I hated the Cubs. I love the Reds. The Reds were dope.
I thought the Cubs logo looked really nice.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. The cream color really threw me off.
I thought the bear looked fun.
Like the one on the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't like their jerseys, but the Reds were phenomenal.
Oh, I mean,
if I were a Reds fan, I'd absolutely get one.
Well, I know. Okay, so they're not doing one next year because they're doing renovations to the farm.
Right.
But in 2024, you know what I want to see?
What do you want to see?
I want to see Reds and Sox. I want to see an actual 1919 rematch.
Wow.
How fun would that be?
Throwback to junior year of high school when I wrote a report on the Black Sox scandal.
Exactly. It's just like, seriously, how cool would an actual 1919 rematch be?
Yeah, it would be pretty cool.
Especially because the Black Sox were a part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I mean, Shoeless Joe was quintessential to that movie.
Right.
And I'm assuming the book too.
Yeah.
I never read the book, but like.
Ew, reading? No.
Dude, I wish I had more time to read. I have 2 copies of Steve's book just sitting in.
I wish I could.
Exactly. I have 2 copies of Steve's book just sitting in my room, and I haven't freaking touched them. Oh, because I got them for Christmas. I got one copy from one set of family and the other copy from another set of family.
That's
So I have 2 copies of This Team's Ruining My Life.
When did he come out with that? That had to have been a while ago, right? It
was 2019 when it got published.
Really?
Because I remember he was going to do the 2020 book tour, and he had like Windsor coming up in March, and then everything shut down. Yeah, and then things happened.
Yeah, and then he had a kid.
God, that was just recounting, watching those videos back of when Leo first came into the world. It was just like the stress of hearing the stories of how the hospital was for him in SL. Anyway, we're getting off on like other. Wow.
On one of our classic pointless tangents.
One of the tangents that we're known for. At least it makes segmenting.
They don't come here for the hockey talk. They come for the pointless conversations we have. You know that, right?
At least it helps to like separate where I can like have ins and outs for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the signings recently, at least we're getting signings.
Yeah.
And we missed one after our last show.
Right.
Because we were speculating this one.
Yes.
Hubie is gonna stay in Calgary.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, it's hard to think that the Flames don't win this deal now.
Yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau signed a full 8-year extension.
Yeah. $10.5 million. He's worth it.
Gosh.
Obviously, you worry about the last 3 years of the deal, but you don't care about the last 3 deals because you're getting the first 5 years of it. So,
right.
It's the price of doing business. And as we always say, I don't know. I love it. It's good for Calgary after this offseason of having Gaudreau walk and having Kachuk
get traded for Huberdeau and Weegar.
It's big to just have him immediately say, you know what, screw it. I want to be here. You guys want me? I want to be here.
Exactly. And now their focus has shifted to McKenzie, and it sounds like McKenzie also wants to stay.
I'm not sure that Calgary got worse. I'm really not. I know losing Matt Kachuk really stings.
Losing Johnny Gaudreau absolutely stinks, but you also
I don't even know if you consider Gaudreau a loss because you replaced him with Huberdeau.
Well, no, and we talked about
like to me, it's like that almost cancels out. So like losing Kachuk hurts because he's a unicorn, but you're the best blue line in hockey now. Right, it's not even close.
Uyghur, we speculated this? Uyghur Tanev, do it.
Yeah, do it. Why not? Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson.
Uyghur Hannafin. I don't care.
They've got so many freaking combinations they can do. It's ridiculous.
Just to put McKenzie anywhere, put him with anybody, and you're fine.
Yeah, they're ridiculous defensively.
Oh yeah, Hubie was gigantic. All of the ARB cases got taken care of before their hearing, except for Yakov Trenin.
Okay.
Trenin went through his hearing, and I believe, if I'm remembering right, all I have are just the player names off of this screenshot. I don't have like contract details or anything.
Right.
But I want to say he settled. The arbitrator gave him 2 years at 1.7.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. So
it's not bad.
You got the extra year, which is nice.
Yeah. You get 2 years, so that's nice. And I don't know, like I think it's good for you. He obviously gets a pay raise, but I don't think that's bad for the Predators at all because he's worth more than 1.7.
So like Appleton, Colasar, they all got taken care of before their hearings happened.
Yeah.
Which is nice because obviously nobody wants to go through that.
Yeah.
We've never explained
17 goals this year.
Really?
He's a 20-goal guy, yeah.
Trenin? Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Only had 7 assists, but
Again, he's third line guy right now. Fourth. It'd be interesting. I want to know what they do with their third line with like Tolvey, Trenin.
Ooh, yeah, they're interesting, aren't they?
Because Tolvanen is probably still going to be a third line kid for them going into next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm looking at just the list. There's Lajoie, Zaka got his. Marty Necas got 2 years, I think, which is big for Carolina.
Yeah, it was 2x3.
2x3. Zaka, another one that got done. Big deal that got done was Lawson Krause.
Talk about a big deal. He got a lot of money.
5-year deal.
Yeah, this to me, I saw. I can't remember who tweeted it. It wasn't JFresh, but it was another analytics site that was calculating like production and whatnot. And they said that his player comp in terms of like as he continues to grow.
The only ones I follow are JFresh and Dom. So
this guy said that he could be their Boone Jenner.
Ooh.
Obviously he doesn't play center, but for a guy who's on the wing who could score some goals, he's physical, he's a bigger guy. And he's making, he's got a longer term deal. He's got 5 years, $4.3 million. I think that's kind of how they view Lawson Krause.
I think Krause can play center though.
I'm sure he can. He's been more of a winger though.
He's been Fisher's wing man. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But that's a huge deal for the Coyotes. And
it's good for two reasons. One, it's big for Lawson Krause because he gets a big payday.
Yeah.
2, it helps the Coyotes get to the floor.
And the Coyotes have a guy that want to be there.
Yeah. Hey, screw it. Why not?
I mean, it's the Coyotes. You need guys that want to play there long term.
Yes, absolutely.
And Krause is a big stepping stone in that. I'm sure they're eventually going to get Keller done, hopefully, because Keller sounds like the kid, right? Mm-hmm. Keller is the guy that's going to invest his time in Arizona.
And it's been up and down for him. We've seen the epic highs and kind of upsetting lows.
Schmaltz too, I think, is another guy.
Schmaltz is signed long term. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Is he a number 1 center?
No.
Probably not. But he's still a really good player.
Yeah.
He'll play the number 1 center role, even though I think he's a really good number 2.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Like they've got some, they're going in the right direction, man. They got some guys.
They're doing what
They're
they
not
need
going
to
to be good.
do.
They're not going to be good next year, but who knows? Maybe they're 2 years away from being 2 years away.
The biggest thing with the Coyotes is more the off ice stuff and making sure Tempe gets done.
Yes, it has to get done.
Because you kind of have to, at this point with the Coyotes, you need to wait out the ASU era.
Yeah.
Right? You have to wait through the college era.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around this now.
Yeah.
So you got to watch him play at a college rink for all like 4 years at most.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 3 years.
3-year deal with the option for the 4th.
Yes.
Oof.
Which the option is entirely dependent on how quickly they can get this arena.
But that's a long time still, like we said when this originally started.
Yeah.
When this got agreed upon, we said that's a long freaking time.
It is.
Anyway, more signings. Zaka got his done. Another big one. Let me just go ahead and mention Patrice and Krejci. We talked about them off the top.
Yeah.
Another big one, Nick Waugh for Vegas, a guy that wants to play in Vegas.
Yeah, and a guy that
after the narrative changed
within a year.
After the narrative changed like this, like that's a guy that wants to stay, which is kind of, it's like I feel bad saying it like that, but it's now what the narrative is.
Yeah, because fuck it, like I don't know, I don't want to sign a deal with the team that's going to trade me in a year.
No, exactly. I don't want to invest 6 years of my life only to leave in 1 or 2.
Yeah. Nick Waugh is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very good defensively, but you don't really care because you get the offense from him.
No, and he's a good middle 6 kid.
Exactly. And, he's a guy who could play wing, but, usually you have him at center. So there's some versatility there.
Yep.
I like him. I really do. I don't see any reason not to like him. I mean, he was 78 games last year. He had 39 points.
Yeah.
He's a half a point a game player.
He's a guy that, he's someone that Vegas needs to actually get their head out of their ass and build around.
Yeah.
Because I know the guys that they've kept around are really just the original misfit line.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's nice to see them keep those guys, but it's only a matter of time before it's like, I think Wild Bill could be the next odd man out.
He could be. He could because of his contract.
And that's going to stink to see the original misfit walk like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. We love William Karlsson. We've loved him ever since he was.
Oh, God, yeah. He was great kid. Good player for us. He was never going to do what he did in Vegas with us. But
no.
So I was fine with him.
But he was very, very serviceable. And, like, nobody knew he was going to do this because Vegas just did what they did. And
yeah.
I don't know any other way to describe it other than Vegas did Vegas things, and now Vegas Reasons is completely different and
than what it used to be. But for Nick Waugh, he's actually kind of an underrated playoff performer. So
like him and White Cloud are both very underrated for Vegas.
So his first year in the league with Vegas, in 28 games, he had 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points. He was playing in the bottom 6. And then in the playoffs, in 20 games, he had a goal and 7 assists for 8 points.
Hey, not bad.
The next year, in 50 games, he had 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. Not much, but in the playoffs, in 19 games, he had 4 goals and 5 assists for 9 points.
There you go.
And then last year, in 78 games, 15 goals, 24 assists for 39 points.
Right, and for a guy that's typically on your third line right now,
exactly,
that's not bad production.
It's good production to have a guy who's been mainly playing in the bottom 6. There's definite top 6 potential if there's injuries or if you just want to shake up the lines. He's definitely someone I think that you could play in the top 6.
Benson's a young kid for Edmonton that got signed. Good investment for the future. I'm still just kind of going through the list. Guy that Devils fans were really kind of itching for to get done, Fabian Zetterlund.
Yeah, they got that deal done.
And his is what I want to say his is a one-way deal, so like he really needs to prove that he can stick.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is like the thing with Zetterlund was the fact that it's a one-way deal, and it's like now he needs to prove that he can play with the big boys.
Yep. Former 3rd round pick. The talent's obviously there. He's 63rd overall.
That's not bad.
There's definite potential there. So,
depth center for Winnipeg and David Gustafson, he'll be fine. Jake Wallman avoiding his ARB case. Riley Shan going to your guys in Buffalo. Jake Wallman getting out of his ARB case, like I said. Korchinski signed his ELC. And then the most recent ones were the Hawks locking up a couple of guys again. Maybe not locking up, but at least, giving them another shot.
They actually did give him a 2-way contract.
Oh, Zetterlund got the 2-way?
Yeah, he did get it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised by that. Anyway, keep going.
So the last 2 signings I just want to touch on really quick. Again, just guys that they're keeping around for this year. Caleb Jones sticking around for a year.
How much? I didn't see that one.
I can't remember. I want to say 2 something. I want to say 2 something. It's not like too bad.
Right.
Especially for Caleb's normally been a 3rd pairing guy.
1.35.
1.3. Okay, that's fine.
That's not bad at all. That's fine.
And then Kurashev.
Yeah.
I like that they're keeping Kurashev. That's nice.
I like him. He's an interesting player. He's had. I haven't watched a ton of him.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't followed him very closely, but he is a guy that, I've watched a few Hawks games here and there, and he's popped off the screen for me.
Yeah. Him and Pius Suter looked really, really good together when Suter was there.
It would be ashamed if they let him walk.
Oh, I just want to see Kurashev and Suter in Detroit together.
Yeah,
I want to see those 2 read.
Former Blackhawk Dominic Kubalik.
Oh my God, I forgot they got Kubalik too. But just
surprised they didn't sign Dylan Strome.
Just put a whole line of former Blackhawks up there with Kurashev and Suter and Kubalik. Like make that a whole former Blackhawk 3rd line. That'd be kind of fun.
Kubalik's interesting. I think he's going to fit in well in Detroit.
I think he's going to do well. I hope he does well.
I got him in a good Kubalik.
Him and Brinksy had some really nice chemistry going on for a while there.
Yeah. It's hard not to succeed with a guy like Alex DeBrincat. It would be a shame.
And you know who else he looked really good with was Taser.
Yeah.
Kubalik and Taser had some really good chemistry.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Taser and Kane, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the free agency last show. You guys can go watch. I posted the clip yesterday, and I meant to space those out a little bit more, but again, things happened.
Yeah.
Big headline that came out the last couple of days. And I'm going to combine these 2 because you mentioned something yesterday about something different. Rangers got a new captain in Jacob Trouba.
Just that was fucking out of left field. Holy shit.
28th captain in Rangers history.
I did not see that one coming. I thought for sure I thought it was a 2-horse race between
Kreider and Zibanejad. Yeah. People said Panarin, but at the same time, I think he turned it down because he just doesn't see himself as a captain.
I don't think he is. And there's nothing wrong with that. To me, he kind of reminds me a little bit in terms of personality like Gino. Gino's a great player, and it's not to say that he's not a leader, but he's not a captain.
No.
Some of these guys with
if he wants an A, he can take it, and I'm sure he'd be fine with that.
I think he kind of likes being able to just not be the vocal guy in the room and just go out there and play.
Right. He's more of your lead by example.
Yeah.
right?
Like I can see, like, when it comes to captains, okay,
Yes.
I need to be able to see this player in a big game after a bad period coming in and just kicking the guys' asses for the coach. The coach doesn't even have to
Right.
say anything. Like Panarin, Malkin, those guys can't. They won't do that. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Sidney Crosby will do it.
Alex Ovechkin will absolutely do it.
Ovi will do it. Ovi's one of the few rare, like, silly guys who will do it. You know, he can separate those two.
How many fucking Nick Foligno speeches have we heard that just absolutely
Foligno would do it. Bergeron would do it. You know, like, you can see it with those guys.
Yes.
I could see it with Chris Kreider.
I just feel like he didn't really want it.
I'm stunned by that, you know, and it's nothing against Jacob Trouba, but
and I think
that stunned me.
I think when it comes to Kreider and Zibanejad in particular, I think Kreider and Zbad are definitely, like, Kreider's absolutely a locker room guy.
Yes.
Kreider is a leader in the locker room. I think Zibanejad's a little more like bread in that he wants to show it with his play.
Yes.
You can give him letters like you always do.
Yeah.
You know, Kreider is like stapled to an A at this point.
You know who was another guy that I thought they could have named? It was a little younger.
Adam Fox?
I wasn't even thinking Fox. I was thinking Ryan Lindgren.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
I thought Lindgren would have made sense too.
Lindgren would have been interesting because you don't hear a lot.
He's a hard-nosed kind of guy. You know, he'll go out there, he'll block a fuck ton of shots.
I do think one thing with sorry. I'm sorry about cutting you off.
No, you're fine. Like, I was basically done with my point, but
so again, he's the 28th captain of the Rangers.
Yeah.
He's joining the ranks of Messier. He's joining the ranks of friggin'
Messier.
I'm just
Ryan Callahan.
Ryan McDonough. At least in terms of recent ones that we can name.
Was McDonough captain?
I feel like he was. Yeah. He was
God, wow.
Pretty sure he was a longer serving captain.
I thought it was just Callahan, and those two kind of left at the same time.
Callie, McDonough. I don't know why I can't think of, like.
Let's look at the history of Rangers captains.
Because I really want to think of historical Rangers captains, right?
Yeah.
But the story goes with the reason why they named Troubs. It was game 3 against the Hurricanes.
Okay, so you're right. Yeah, so it was. So previous captains, McDonough was a captain. Callahan was a captain.
I do remember McDonough as a captain.
Drury, okay. Yager, Messier.
Yes, Yager was
twice. He was and then the period in between the time.
I don't know why I forgot Yager.
Brian Leach.
Leach. Oh my god.
Phil Esposito, Brad Park. Yeah. These are just like bigger names. Like, yeah. So
well, like, I don't know why I couldn't think of those bigger names because maybe they're just because they're out of our era.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so the story goes game 3 against the Hurricanes. They never made public what Trouba said, but there was a speech that he gave in that locker room that just proved the entire room that this was the guy.
Interesting.
It was just one little speech. And that's what kind of made the decision. So, I mean, hey.
Hey, after he made that speech, they were 4-1 against the Hurricanes.
and they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final and gave Tampa a run for it. And
Yeah.
And we know what Trouba can do on the ice.
Yeah, he's been a little bit of a liability defensively, but he's fantastic offensively. He's one of the better offensive defensemen.
Little controversial hits wise, physicality is a little controversial.
A little bit.
But I mean, you know what he's gonna bring, and I think it fits the Rangers' identity really well.
Yeah.
And this is also, I think he's definitely, for me personally, I think he's a transitional captain.
Who do you think's the next captain then?
Adam Fox. He's a stepping stone for Adam Fox.
Yeah, I could see it.
He's just 2-3 years of Trouba, and then you give it to Fox.
That's fair. And I wouldn't be against that for the Rangers, but Fox is a great player. I don't know. I don't know enough. Like, I know enough about Adam Fox as a player. I don't know enough about him as a person.
Right.
Like, he could be a very vocal guy. I have no idea. He comes off to me as a quiet guy.
And you have quiet captains.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing with quieter captains, though, is just they get loud when you need it.
It almost gives more, I don't know if I want to say credibility. It almost just brings out more in you. Like, if you have a quiet captain and they're quiet for 20 plus games,
right,
and then they come at you during an intermission, you're like, oh my fucking, like, we gotta get going here,
right, this is
and they were fucking talks, and here he is just yelling at us. It's one of those things where, like,
you know what that makes me think of is drawing a comparison with when the Sabres were going through their 18 games.
Yeah.
I don't think Jack did anything.
No, God, no, he didn't care.
So it's like, and it's, who was it? It was Brandon Montour, wasn't it? I want to say it was Montour that stepped up and said, hey, we're in the National Hockey League. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. And that's why, like, people are talking about for potential captains for the Sabres. A lot of people have brought up Alex Tuch because he's a hometown kid, but I think if I had to put my money on it, they're going to do what you mentioned, the transitional captain.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tuch will eventually be captain.
Yeah.
I think their next captain is going to be Kyle Okposo.
That would make sense.
Very, very respected guy in the locker room. Had a good year last year.
Big back. Veteran presence.
Everyone respects him. They love him. He's a great guy, great personality, good leader.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the direction they'll go.
Couple of years of Kyle and then give it to Tucker.
2-3 years of Kyle Okposo and then Alex Tuch's your captain.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be really nice. I think both guys would be great captains.
Yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, I think Trouba, all in all, is a good move. It's nice to see the Rangers have a captain again.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a while for them to name a captain. I'm stunned that it was Trouba, but
the 6 alternates.
They know more than I do about in terms
the 6 alternates last year.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous.
It's so funny.
Alternate captain, Barclay Goodrow.
Alternate captain, Keandre Miller.
They should have named him captain.
Alternate captain, Igor Shesterkin. Wait a minute. Just shades of Bobby Lou, right?
Dude. Who knows? Maybe the transition isn't to Fox. Maybe it's to Keandre Miller.
Maybe it's to Ryan Lindgren.
Maybe it's to Ryan Reeves.
Oh, God. Can you imagine a cut like Ryan Reeves as a captain?
That would have been the most out of left move of all time if they were just like, we named our 28th captain and it's Ryan Reeves. Everyone would have
we named our 28th captain and it's a guy that we barely put out on the ice.
That was funny.
Another thing that I just want to hit real quick is that Robin Lehner will not be playing in 22-23. Hip surgery.
Season. Yeah.
You broke this to me last night. Hip surgery. Right?
And this makes 110% sense as to why they didn't trade Laurent Brossoit like I thought they were going to. So they're going to be moving forward with him and Thompson in net, and I think Logan Thompson's.
I think Logan can take the net.
I think he'll take the net. I'm confident in him. I like his game. I like his mentality. He's a
We know
mentally
Brissois is a career backup, so I don't think he would have an issue with giving it to
exactly.
either.
Yeah.
Unless they go out and try to, but you can't really go out and try to get a new goalie anymore with the they're just so strapped.
Well, there's one guy I think that could make sense if they want to hit the goalie market. Maybe try and reach out to San Jose about James Reimer.
You could.
They got Aiden Hill. They got Kaapo Kakkonen. You know, Reimer's a good goalie, but he's not your future if you're the Sharks. So
no, he's getting longer in the tooth.
He was good last year. So I think that like if you're relying on a goalie for 1 year, like if you're Vegas,
James would
find
be
out
fine.
what the price is. Find out what the price is to have him at 50% retention because that's like 1.2 million against the cap, I think.
Right. No, because James is on a pretty cheap deal, I think. It's like a $3 million deal. What?
That's who the Maple Leafs should have gotten.
I know. That's what Steve wanted.
Samsonov and Reimer. He'd cry.
Oh, I would love it.
The best 34 in franchise history.
I still think that just for the sake of like wholesomeness, they should have tried to keep Jack and then get James anyway.
It would have been really. It'd be so funny if they traded for Reimer and Reimer was like, "Hey Austin, can I have 34 back?"
And then Austin wears like 35.
He wears Reimer's old number. He's wearing 47.
But then what would Pierre wear? Like 48? It's like the whole
74. We'll flip it.
We'll flip it. Yeah. I got a fun exercise that I want to do with you, and then I want to end on a bit of a sentimental thing.
All right, let's go.
So, I pulled this from Facebook that was off of Reddit. Build a lineup. You can only pick one player per position and per country.
Okay. Did you send this to my phone?
I didn't. You want me to send it to you, or you like?
I'll grab my phone real quick, send it to me, so I can look at it.
Yeah. So let me just send this really quick, just so you have the visual reference as Wahale. Boom, boom. There, it's done. So again, this is one player. So like, if you take a center from, or if you take the Russian center, then you can't take a center from another country, or
so it's okay.
It's like you can't, So it's one per country, but it's one per. It'll be
okay. All right.
Easier.
I'll start goalie, and I'm going Russia. I'm going to take Vasilevsky.
That's the thing is, I think a lot of these are going to be pretty similar. I think we may only have a couple of picks that are different.
I'm going to go defenseman from Sweden. I'm going to go Victor Hedman.
Okay.
This may surprise people from Canada. I'm going to go Cale Makar.
Okay, so Makar and
Build up
Hedman.
a strong defense. All right, so I don't have to.
Actually, okay, no. Look, if you look at it, it has 2 defenseman slots for handedness.
Yeah, so I take 2 defensemen.
No, but like if you look at where they are, Cale and Victor are like in the same little spot. They're in the same column.
Does that matter?
I think just based off of the way this looks, it kind of matters.
I don't think it matters.
I don't know, because like
one's a left-hand shot, one's a right-hand shot. One plays left, one plays right. Like
I don't know, because I'm just looking at this the way it's splayed out, and anyway.
Because you're only supposed to take one, so it's one player per position, but you have to take 2 defensemen. So,
but that's why they have 2 defenseman columns. I think.
I don't think they put it like through like any specific. guidelines. And...
Maybe not like super rigorous, no, but at the same time, again, that's why they have 2 defenseman columns, right?
All right, fine. I'll go.
Does that make sense now?
No, but I'll abide by your stupid rules.
That's the way I was planning on playing this anyway. I was actually thinking about this for a couple of days.
On
this.
All right, I'll go. Ugh. We'll go.
Uh-huh.
I'll go with Victor Hedman and Mo Seider.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a nice defensive pairing there. So you have your 2 defensemen, you got your goalie.
Yeah. So I just have to read my fourth. So I already took one from Canada. I already took from rest of world.
Yep. And you took Sweden.
Sweden.
Yep.
And Russia. Right? Oh wait, no, I didn't take from Canada because I didn't take Hill.
Right.
So
okay. You got your forward left.
So I'm gonna go from Canada. I'm gonna go Marner.
Okay. Interesting.
From United States, I'm gonna go Matthews.
Okay.
And then what's the remaining one?
Finland.
Patrick Laine, baby.
There you go.
I'm giving you the most fun lineup of all time. Matthews, Marner, Laine.
That is very fun because you have the chemistry, and then you also have the first and second overall picks from.
I have 2 unbelievable snipers. I have a great playmaker. I've got 2 great defensemen, and I've got the best goalie in the world.
That's very fun. Okay, so mine. Canada, center Connor McDavid.
Terrible pick.
U.S. Left wing Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, I figured.
I gotta do that. I gotta do that. Dude, Connor and Johnny together, just toying with their food.
I think I know what your next pick's gonna be.
Sweden. I'm gonna go Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
So left defense Victor. Finland. Finland. That's I think I'm gonna go with for Finland, I'm gonna go with Lindell.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Lindell for Finland. For Russia, I'm gonna go Vasilevsky, and that leaves rest of world.
Which is I figured.
which is David Pastrnak at right wing. So Johnny, Connor, Pasta, Hedman, Lindell, and Vasi is my team. That's not bad either, is it?
You're not going to have a bad team with these players.
No, like all of these players listed, like just leaving out guys that we didn't mention at all. Marc-Andre Fleury is the goalie for Canada. Thatcher Demko for the U.S. Jacob Markstrom, UC Saros, Freddie Anderson. Those are just the goalies.
Yeah.
The defense to pick from are Makar and Letang, Fox and Hughes, Hedman, Dahlin. A defensive pairing in Dallas and Heiskanen and Lindell.
Yeah.
Sergachev and Orlov and Yossi and Seider. The right wings are Marner, Kane, Nylander, Rantanen, Kucherov. I was debating Kucherov for a while, and then I was just like, no, I gotta go Vasi though. And Pastrnak. Left wings are Huberdeau, Gaudreau, Philip Forsberg, Patrick Laine, Ovechkin, and Kevin Fiala. And the centers are McDavid, Matthews, Zibanejad, Barkov, Malkin, and Draisaitl. So, like,
this for rest of world that neither of us went with Draisaitl. I thought about it, but
I did kind of think about it for a little bit, but I mean, like, God, there's no bad choices here,
Yeah.
and it's a fun one. So like, I don't know. So go ahead, read yours again if you even remember.
So I went Matthews, Marner, Line,
Okay.
Edman, Sider, Vasilevsky.
Gosh, that's so much fun though.
Yeah,
The
Matthews and Marner are unreal together. Patrick Line will give you fucking 90 goals on that
the
guy.
biggest finishing power ever.
Uh,
No, I think Matthews and Line are gonna like fight for the privilege of scoring those goals.
Here's the thing. With Matthews and Line on the ice at the same time, one of them's going to have a little bit more space than they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
So they're going to complement each other like crazy.
And then
Victor Hedman and Mo Seider are both franchise defensemen, and that's the best goalie in the world.
Yeah. And Connor's the best center in the world.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. Like, seriously, if you try to argue, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Johnny Gaudreau better.
Johnny Gaudreau and Connor McDavid together, just like I said, they toy with their food, right?
Absolutely.
Just like, wow. I had to go with Victor just because he's the premier defenseman, right? And then Lindell, I kind of just, I don't know. I think Lindell would be a nice like shutdown compliment to Hedman.
Yeah, he's not a flashy or sexy player, but he's a good defenseman.
And then you have to go with Vasi.
You have to go with Vasi. Like, I'm sorry, you just have to.
You have to go with Vasilevsky. And then that kind of left me with Pasta, but at the same time, like Pasta.
Yeah, you're going to complain about David Pastrnak?
Are you really going to complain about David Pastrnak, especially with Connor McDavid and Johnny Gaudreau?
Yeah.
Like, we talk about having, because, you know, you have two finishers. You have two goal scorers on yours. I have two premier playmakers and an elite finisher.
I have a finisher, and I also have a finisher.
Yeah, you do. So we're gonna end this with a lot of condolences. Because we're gonna end this with a lot of condolences.
Okay.
Because this whole week in the pop culture sphere and the hockey sphere.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
The first one I want to start off with is the one that broke last night, like overnight. Anne Heche.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Anne Heche, who I knew mostly from the Gus Van Sant Psycho remake. She was in I Knew What You Did Last Summer.
How old was she?
She was only 53.
Oh my God.
She passed away due to brain complications from her car accident this year.
God.
She was in a coma and they pulled her plug and
damn.
Yeah, and I mean, I know she didn't have like the biggest career, but again, like I Know What You Did Last Summer was a huge horror movie. The Psycho remake was a big experiment in horror remakes.
Yeah.
Because we know Psycho is a fucking classic. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's Alfred Hitchcock. Come on. But the Gus Van Sant, you know, it was an experiment on the studio's dime in terms of shot for shot, you know, remakes. All the shots were composed exactly the same. It was in color instead of black and white. They used the Joe Stefano script word for word.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Vince Vaughn even had a lot of inflections that were very similar to Anthony Perkins.
Right.
And then poor Anne Heche just, you know, having to play Marion Crane like that, they just got whatever blonde that was popular at the time, I guess. And she just fell flat as Marion. And that's kind of the point.
Right. Yeah.
That was the whole point behind Van Sant making this, is like these shot for shot remakes are pointless.
Right.
You can't replicate anything that's that special.
Yeah.
But Anne Heche did her thing, and she was fine.
Yeah.
For what it was, yeah. And it's just, man, tragic car accident, and she just couldn't survive her injuries.
Right.
Another big one. These summer nights are going to get really dull because we lost Olivia Newton-John this week.
That was a tough one.
That one's really tough to me too,
because she was fantastic with everything she did, and I saw it like when I was flying back, because I was flying Delta back. Like I was just like scrolling.
Oh, from your cruise, right?
Yeah. First thing that came up was I can't even remember what fucking news channel it was. First thing that pops up is Olivia Newton-John dead at 73, and I was like, well, I'm sad.
Well, we knew she was battling cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks that it just finally happened.
Yeah. 73 is not like a young age, but it still feels too soon.
She defined a whole era in the late 70s and early 80s.
Oh God, absolutely.
She had more of a music career than a film and TV career. But like
her film and TV career was outstanding.
Grease was instrumental.
Yeah, exactly.
No pun intended.
Yeah, yeah, no pun, but like legitimately, it's an iconic movie.
Did you see John Travolta's post? Because I wanted to cry.
No, I didn't.
When I read John's post, I wanted to bawl my eyes out.
Yeah,
because Danny lost Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
God, ugh. I texted my mom overnight, and Grease is her favorite movie.
Oh God!
I texted her overnight. I was like, "You need to watch Grease tomorrow," and she was like, "I'm absolutely going to."
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Framed and Hurdle didn't do anything, because they could have done either Grease or Xanadu for Framed.
Yeah.
And they should have picked an Olivia song for Hurdle instead of whatever they did that day. I want to say it was like Basket Case or some shit.
Yeah.
It was something that just like, I don't know, the timing was weird. But yeah, we lost the legend in Olivia Newton-John, and this one really stings. And we also lost the legend in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Edmonton superfan. And this kid, Ben Stelter,
that one was like a stake to the heart.
Ben hurts. Ben really hurts. Yeah. Because he was, his whole story. He just, he happened to go to more games than not. And he happened to go to a lot of games where they won.
Yeah.
So then they used him as a rally. I shouldn't say used him.
No, they rallied around a super fan who was, going through an obvious tough time.
Best friends with Connor McDavid. Like, come on, man. Giving him the time of his life.
Yeah. That one was tough.
That one was really, really tough. And it's very much like we had this year. And what was her name? 2019.
Layla, right?
Layla, yes.
Yeah.
Very similar stories.
Obviously,
Layla's still with us.
Yeah.
Though, which is
outstanding.
Which is great. And I just feel so bad for Oilers fans.
I feel bad for the family.
I feel bad for the family. I feel bad
imagine
for his friends. Like. He was only 6 years old, man. Yeah. We talk about going in your 20s and 30s as being too young. We talk about going in your 50s as too young.
Going when that's just criminal. It's just
6 years old.
Nothing fair about it.
Nothing fair. He didn't even get a chance to start living his life. And yet he lived it to his fullest.
Yeah. You can't help but admire the courage and the strength of everyone involved.
I hope they do a little something.
Yeah, like a patch or something like that, like for their jersey,
a helmet sticker.
Yeah, I think they will. I'm pretty confident that the Oilers will.
They'll at least do something small, I would think.
Yeah,
because I know Gloria was kind of a Layla thing, right? More or less.
I don't remember the origin of Gloria being. Like,
I can't remember if that was a Layla thing but if you do even something like that, like in all the small things, right? From what Colorado did with their cup run this year. If you just like pick a new goal song that was like one of Ben's songs or something.
Mm-hmm.
To go along with like a tangible, like a sticker or a patch or something. Do something that would resonate Ben throughout everywhere. Right?
Yeah. So I'm reading the story on why they played Gloria, and now I am sad.
Oh.
Because it all started. No, this is just for personal. It started with Alexander Steen, Joel Edmondson, Robert Bortuzzo, Jaden Schwartz, and Robbie Fabry watching the Eagles-Bears NFC wildcard game in Philadelphia back in January 6th. So I kind of want to die now because of the freaking game. That one was brutal. So we got together with some friends and watched the game with a bunch of Philly guys who grew up there. Edmondson told StLouisBlues.com. They had a DJ in the bar, and whenever there was a commercial break, they would crank the tunes, and all these guys from Philly would get up and start dancing around. They played this song Gloria a couple times, and this one guy looked at the DJ and said, "Keep playing Gloria." So they kept playing it. Right there, we decided we should play this song after our wins. We won the next game. We got a shutout, so we just kept on playing.
Just kept it going? Wow.
And then eventually it became what they would play like in the arena after wins. So not just the locker room.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, ask the family when appropriate.
Yeah.
Ask the family when appropriate, like, what's a song he loved?
Mm-hmm.
We'll change the goal song. We'll change the victory song, right? We'll change the song, do a couple more things, a patch, a helmet, sticker, something. Obviously, I don't know if a video tribute's be nice.
Yeah.
Right? Because you do that for former players. Why not do that for a super fan?
Exactly.
Especially one that young.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a really nice way to do it.
Yeah, that would be a good way to pay condolences to Ben at the very least. Because, so on that, it is dog days of summer, right?
Yep.
We got about a half a month until we can start ramping up again.
Mm.
Hopefully we'll be back in a week, barring anything.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. We'll be back Saturday again. Rest in peace to Ben Stelter. And Olivia Newton-John and Anne Heche. And we'll see y'all in a week, and we'll see what news breaks this time.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at By J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.